Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Congress is getting closer to voting on a $2 trillion stimulus package to help American workers and businesses impacted by the coronavirus. The move comes as President Trump says he wants the country back up and running as soon as Easter. Despite the number of coronavirus cases continuing to climb in the U.S., now past 53,000. CBS's Skylar Henry has the latest from Capitol Hill.
President Trump wants the U.S. open for business again in a matter of weeks.
Easter is a very special day for many reasons, and what a great timeline this would be.
But members of his own White House coronavirus task force are signaling caution.
You can look at a date, but you've got to be very flexible, and on a literally day-by-day and week-by-week basis, you need to evaluate the feasibility of what you're trying to do.
The president's remarks come as the number of U.S. coronavirus cases continues to accelerate. New York State is the epicenter of the pandemic, with more than half the nation's cases.
New York is the canary in the coal mine. We have the highest and the fastest rate of infection. What happens to New York is going to wind up happening to California and Washington State and Illinois. It's just a matter of time.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is urging the administration to rush in more medical equipment.
We are all racing against time. We need our federal government to join us in that race against time.
Congress will likely vote tomorrow on a $2 trillion stimulus package to help American workers and companies. Today, lawmakers agreed on the major sticking points. Now they're just hammering out the details.
This package will be the single largest Main Street assistance program in the history of the United States.
It provides $500 billion in loans for big businesses, nearly $400 billion in grants and loans for small businesses.
This is a great plan.
The bill includes a one-time cash payment for most working Americans, up to $1,200 for individuals, $3,000 for the average family. It also expands unemployment insurance from 26 weeks to 39 in most states, boosting benefits by $600 a week. Wall Street rallied on the news, surging more than 2,100 points, or about 11%, its biggest one-day percentage gain since 1933. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
As of now, that proposed bill would inject $4 trillion into the financial sector, which could free up investment banks. Those one-time stimulus checks are worth an additional $2 trillion, bringing the total to $6 trillion for all this. By comparison, and adjusted for inflation, that's $1.9 trillion more than the U.S. spent for the entirety of World War II. Now, we expect to learn more tomorrow about Governor Andy Beshear's order to close all non-life-sustaining businesses in Kentucky to in-person service. That order goes into effect Thursday at 8 p.m. Now, the governor says he's taking more aggressive action after announcing the state's largest one-day total increase of cases. He also says the hotline set up yesterday to report groups and businesses not in compliance with his orders has already received more than 2,000 calls. Now, 39 new confirmed COVID-19 cases puts the state's total at 163. The counties highlighted in red are where positive cases have been reported by the governor or local health departments. That includes 2 new cases in Pulaski County and the first cases in Laurel and McCreary counties. Governor Beshear says one of the new cases involved someone who was at a coronavirus party. Breathitt County has 2 cases of coronavirus. One of those cases was tested at Hazard ARH. The other we have little information about. Some who live in Breathitt County are reminding their neighbors to practice social distancing so they can get through this with as few lives impacted as possible.
It's hitting more people in their older age. What's really getting me than these younger people. There's a lot of dying people of it, and there's a case down here in Breathitt County. I'm not sure where we're at, but I'm trying to stay in as much as possible right now.
Officials continue to urge people to stay at home if you can and limit contact with others. Airlines are canceling flights left and right due to low demand. Almost half of today's flights at Lexington's Bluegrass Airport were canceled. Most of those cuts are as needed, but some of them are basically permanent. In April, their route to Ronald Reagan Airport in Washington, D.C. and their flights to Houston will both be suspended indefinitely. One person traveling at the airport today was a student from Campbellsville who had come back from California to get his belongings after the rest of the semester was canceled.
It was a little scary at first, a little hectic. There definitely wasn't anybody at the airport at all. I flew through Atlanta and through LAX.
It is recommended if you plan on flying to check online to see if there are any changes before you get to the airport. She's become a regular part of the 5 p.m. briefings with Governor Andy Beshear. Virginia Moore is an interpreter with the Kentucky Commission on the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. Moore says being included in those daily news conferences is bringing a huge awareness to what's been a big problem in Kentucky. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to Moore today about the important service she's providing.
Couple new things tonight.
For several weeks now, she's been right by the governor's side.
I'm a part of something different, something new, and a historical moment for Kentuckians, the United States, and for access.
Virginia Moore signs for the Kentucky Commission on the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. She says in 25 years, this is the first time that she's aware of a Kentucky governor including interpreters in briefings.
There's 700,000 deaf and hard of hearing in the state of Kentucky.
She hears and then has to sign exactly what the governor says, and she keeps calm even when the news is usually not pleasant.
I convey what the governor conveys. I'm only as good as the governor. If he's calm, I'm calm.
Moore was recently named a Kentucky colonel.
Just a little something to show how much we appreciate her and what she is doing.
News of that honor has been just a little bit awkward for Moore, but she says it's all been worth it if it's used to increase awareness.
But I will take it in the sense that people need something to feel good about or say, oh, this is great access.
She says more interpreters are needed and encourages people to explore careers in signing. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Moore tells us the only time she almost got emotional during her signing was when the governor announced he was going to light the mansion green to show compassion for those that have died due to the coronavirus.
Brenna, been a pretty and soggy and a little bit of a stormy night out there. Definitely heard some rumbles of thunder here in Hazard. Looking along Interstate 64 in Moorhead, you see those very soggy conditions. Most of those have moved out, but we're still pretty wet out there. Looking along Interstate 75 into Mount Vernon, still seeing those wet conditions and it's starting to get a little bit foggy as well. So we look at that visibility, less than a mile in Hazard and Jackson, close to 2 to 3 miles of only visibility in Harlan and Middlesboro, and some of those low-lying areas could definitely see that low visibility heading into tonight. The heavier showers are now just starting to move out of eastern Kentucky and move into Virginia and a little bit into West Virginia. We'll hang on to a few showers tonight, but the bulk of that heavy rain has definitely moved out of here. So you see those rain chances really starting to diminish as we head into those early morning hours, and especially as we head into tomorrow. We'll start to dry out and clear out, and sunshine might return tomorrow, but definitely returns by your Thursday. I'll have tomorrow and Thursday's forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Doctors and hospitals are finding new ways to see and treat their patients during this coronavirus outbreak. The ARH Cancer Center in Hazard is piloting their telemedicine program. This allows some of the hospital's most vulnerable patients to see a doctor from the comfort of their home without having that increased face-to-face interaction with people.
Because currently with the COVID-19 epidemic, we are concerned about asymptomatic carriers and the people who have disease without knowing it. And so the less contacts possible, the better.
Officials with the hospital say to look out for expanded telemedicine services throughout the ARH hospital system, online and on their Facebook page. Healthcare workers are not the only people at risk during this time. The Floyd County Sheriff's Department is working to make sure senior citizens in the county have what they need to make it through the days ahead. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about a program that offers provisions and a little peace of mind.
Just a neighborly phone call goes a long way.
So it's allowed us to step in and be that person to check on them, check on their well-being if they need something.
The Floyd County Sheriff's Office uses its Coast program, checking on a senior today, to make sure the older community is well taken care of.
And it gives the senior a lot of peace of mind knowing that somebody they can trust is checking on them.
And there is no one they trust quite like Miss Betty.
Yes, I'm fine.
Miss Betty, she's a natural and she loves it.
I'll talk to you next week.
Betty Branham makes calls to her list of seniors 3 times a week.
This is Betty with the Coast program.
She calls them her patients.
But if they need anything, they let me know right then.
Calling to get grocery orders or medicine refills, or just to let them know they have a friend.
And most of them want to talk. Said I'm the only phone call they get during the day.
And she offers up conversation, wherever it may lead.
If it's arthritis, they talk about their arthritis, their knees, their elbows.
Now, as isolation continues in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, those calls are more crucial than ever.
And each one that I talk with has a comment. I'm staying in. You know, if I need anything, I'll let you know.
But as they battle a new loneliness in an unsure time,
I look forward to come and check my patients out, that I'm checking on each one of them and what their conditions are.
Miss Betty is right here for them.
You're in good shape? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Sometimes you just need a nice voice on the other end of the line. If you know a senior citizen in Floyd County who would benefit from the program, especially during this time, you can call the Sheriff's Department at 606-886-8965. For those of you looking to be healthy at home or out and about, you can still grab sporting supplies despite retail businesses being closed. Hibbett's is actually offering curbside pickup. You can order online, then the staff there will grab your items and bring them out to you when stopping to pick them up. Now, tomorrow morning at 11:30, we will have a community discussion on Facebook Live for a Facebook Live Issues and Answers. I will be joined by health expert Scott Lockard from the Kentucky River Regional Health Department. We encourage you to watch and submit your questions, and we'll get to as many as we can. Coming up here tonight at 11, people across the country are rallying behind medical workers. We'll bring you the story of one Eastern Kentucky woman trying to make sure they have the equipment they need.
And that soggy weather has moved out of the area tonight, and drier weather does return to the mountains for a little bit. I'll have your forecast coming up.